has been your experience? What has been hard? What has been easy? And what were you able to create? You can also share a link to some of the projects that you've created this week with us as we kickstart our third day of this training. And I also saw some amazing projects on the Coding Unlimited studio that you created. So we want more of those. And today we just want to proceed and learn more skills. We are going to be introducing another topic today, which is still in line with making amazing games, making amazing animations and stories. And so today we are going to have our facilitator. I'm going to introduce Grace. She has been with us for a long time, since 2019, as a very good trainer. For those of you who are from Eastern Uganda and you've been to schools in Eastern Uganda, she has been, you must have seen her. So without wasting much time, I'll just give a chance to her to start the training. So Grace, whenever you're ready, you're very welcome.
Hello, everyone in class today. I'm happy to be with you today. I'm happy to be in class today with you people. And I'm sure that we're going to learn a new thing. We are going to our third class, our third lesson. That means that we've been going through other lessons and we have something we've learned. I just maybe according to how Mr. Solomon has been, what Mr. Solomon has been saying, maybe we can remind ourselves about what has been going on, about what we have learned. Okay, the previous lesson we learned. Maybe somebody to give us what we remember about what you learned last. Hello? Is someone ready? If you are ready, you can please just maybe raise up your hand. You can type in the mail, in the chat, and we try to follow up. However, as we are waiting to hear about that, we are going to learn about variables today. And I just want to maybe to see if there is anyone who can tell me something about variables. Because we are learning Scratch, we are doing programming with Scratch, and you know what Scratch is. Yes, please. Alan Gerard, you have something to say.
Yes, teacher, I was asking if we are going to be in breakout rooms today.
Pardon?
I was asking if we're going to be in breakout rooms today.
In breakout rooms. Let's get that response from Mr. Solomon.
We may have breakout sessions at the end of the class as well. So if you're looking forward, then it's going to be, we may have it today as well.
Okay, teacher.
Okay. Hope you answered. You can lower your hand and you have another person getting chance to ask or to communicate. We are having our introduction to the class. Everyone is welcome to raise an issue as you get prepared for this class. I want to hear about what we've been going through. If you remember, if you recall anything, it is always good to remind ourselves. It is always good to remind ourselves to show that we are getting what we are learning. Yeah. Who can tell us what you learned last? In the last lesson, maybe in the first lesson, we've so far had 2 lessons. Yes, Mr. Enoch. Enoch.
I learned that you can make a surprise prize.
Hello, Enoch. Your volume is so low. And something that you learned that volume is a bit low. Enoch. Okay. Enoch, please, you have another chance. You come after Christine. Yes, Christine, you can speak. Adam. Hello, Christine. Okay, please, Christine, help write in the chat. Your network is a bit disturbing. Write in the chat, maybe we shall get what you're saying. Enoch, the same thing can still help you if your volume can't be adjusted. If you find a problem with that, you can write it in the chat and we shall be able to, yeah. Okay, fine. Okay, today, our lesson today, as I told you, we are going to learn about variables. And let me share my screen. We may understand, let us get a small introduction about what variables are, what is really this thing we are going to talk about today. And let us, please, who can tell me what you understand by a variable? Maybe as I share my screen. A variable. Hello? Are we getting? Wow. Mpaji, you have a response and you've given us an answer that Boolean expressions that these are expressions that are either true or false. Okay. Jasmine, thank you. Fine. Now, hello. Is everyone hearing my speaker?
Yes, please.
Somebody, is everyone
Yes.
hearing my volume?
Yes, please, teacher.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Teacher.
Fine. Yeah, I've
Yes,
got a lot
teacher.
of people responding to my question, and that is good. It really shows that we have a clue on what we are going to read. So I'm going to share my screen right now about I'm going to share what we are going to learn today, and I want us to really to go through and then. Hello?
Hey.
Are we getting that? Are we seeing the screen? Hello?
Teacher. Yes, we can see.
Okay, so this is our topic today that we are learning, variables. And our expectation by the end of this lesson is that we need to know what a variable is. We've had some people just telling us what a variable is. And we want to know what an array is. We shall also use them in the coding. We shall apply them in our program direct. We shall try to build this. Okay, and in the skills, we shall also what variables can help us do as we continue. So we shall also in our lesson of variables, we are trying to understand what I'm getting warning about the internet, but let me hope if you're getting any disturbances, please notify me. I check on it. So we understand that a variable in programming is a value that can change. It is like a container where you can put something and it changes by the meaning of what is inside of it. Now, depending on the conditions or information passed to the program. If you want to do it, if you want, please let us listen. Maybe if somebody will raise an issue, maybe you will raise a question afterwards. I'm trying to say that a variable is a value that can change depending on the conditions or information passed to the program. Meaning, when I have a cup and the water is inside, you call it a cup of water. When it has something else, you call it a cup of that thing that is inside. So a variable almost acts as a container when you come back to our programming. I hope somebody has understood. So I can have a variable and call it anything, then it will apply, it will act as that particular thing I have called it. So when we go to the coding, and when you go to coding, we shall be able to see what variables can really help us to do. I think we need to really go direct to Scratch and we see how we can use it, how we can use these variables. This has just been a small introduction to it. Let's then share our slides, I mean our Scratch, and then such that we see what can these variables help us do. How can we use them? Okay. If someone is also having Scratch on your desktop, you can please open it up and we start working. Are we seeing our Scratch here? Is somebody seeing our Scratch? We see that we are now familiar with this desktop. We are familiar with what Scratch is. We have these blocks here. We see the motion, we see the looks, we see the sound, we see the events, the control, sensing, variables, operations, then variables, and that is where we are today. We are going to be able to make different things through this, and for today we are going to make a simple calculator. I believe we are going to understand. We are going to love it. Wow. Yeah. Concern, you're asking the question that can you really follow? You can. You can. Now, we said variables are containers. Let us start a small program. For example, we want to make a small calculator and we want it to be functional. We want it to be functional. So we are going to start checking. How do we start a program? We start by an event. When something is hit, for example, when we go to event, I'm going through this because it can help us remember what we shall need to do. Or what we've been doing. Fine. So when you click maybe the green flag, or instead of clicking the green flag, okay, Okay, fine. Let's do, when we click the green flag, we expect our calculator to turn on. Maybe, yeah.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes.
Should I follow you or I listen to your explanation?
Pretty, you're free. Are you pretty?
I'm Preet.
Yes,
Preet.
Preet. You're free to
Yes.
follow. You're free to follow, but when you follow, you may
Yes.
get disrupted. You understand?
Okay.
Yes, so it's better when you first see what is being done, and
Okay.
then yes, and then you'll be able to do something.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
However, if you need if someone who doesn't have that scratch, who doesn't have the program, it has been posted. Anyone can install it on your PC or on your machine, and you'll be able to use it. Okay, so we are going to do a calculator, and we shall be able to first thing in our code, as we saw, that we can choose make a variable, and then we do what we want, like we put in our containers in that particular variable. So we are going to go to variables, as I had said. Before we choose anything, let's first see how we can really make a calculator, and then we see how it functions. Let's start with go to our variables, because we are directly learning variables today. So we are going to say, maybe we can make any variable that you want. Maybe we can make a variable and name it anything. Since we want to make a calculator, we are going to make to choose numbers. Maybe we can call it number 1. In short, I'll call it num1. And I say, okay. You find that it has been added on the screen. The variables, you see num1 as a variable there. You can still add another variable, because for calculator maybe we can need to add one number to another number, or yes, or maybe add more than 2 numbers, or maybe subtract or divide. So in the calculator, we're dealing with numbers. Is the reason I'm using numbers. When you're doing any other thing, you can use anything. Fine. So here we are on numbers, and then here I'll put another variable. I'll call this variable. I'll call it variable 2. Now, being that we have got both our variables, we've got both our variables, and the next thing we have to do is how are we going to use now these variables? Hope everyone is fine with the stage where we are. We can now get to the event to set up how our calculator is going to work. And we are going to create a calculator, or maybe let's make a calculator to add up some numbers. So remember, when you switch on a calculator, it will always put maybe 0 when you switch it on, and then it will, you put the number, and so our calculator is going to be programmed like this. Let's now start our coding. We've been told from the start of learning these lessons that with the Scratch, always start with events. That's where I had started from, and I wanted to first go back to our variable and see how we can first make them beautiful before we can apply them to our program. Now, when we say that when the green flag is hit, we can say, maybe let it ask the number. Ask number, or maybe to ask number 1 and expects you to enter the number. Okay. It will say enter number. And are we following? Okay, then you just assume that we are going to look for ask number. And now, when we put that block there, the block that we are seeing, we've got it from sensing. Here we have this under code, we have motion, and then after control is sensing, that's where we go to the ask block. Now this ask block is having something inside, which is asking, what is your name? But we wanted to say ask number 1. So what we are going to delete that, and then we put ask number 1. We've been writing this. Okay, we have number 1 as our variable that we've already created. So when it asks this, it will wait. We are saying that we can make this program more, you can make this program, you can ask, then it asks the number, you put the number, then you ask the operation, it will put the operation, you put the operation, it will ask you for the number, the second number, and then you put the second number, and it will set the answer. So that is typically what we are going to do today, and is what we want to do. So I want to go slowly. I want to show us that you see the slides, as you see the scratch, and we go so slow so that we understand. If I'm so slow and somebody is trying not to understand it, or pulling has to understand, maybe you can still raise up a concern. And okay. So then after, we are going to set now that we are now going to set the number. In the blocks of variables, we have I have a block that says set. So we are going to set, then we are going to set it to our variables. We have our variable number 1, and here we are saying that set to, there is something 0 here. So we have to make sure that it sets to the answer that you have put in. So we are going to put in the answer that somebody has, that you have entered in. So in the 0, where the 0 is, we are going to fit in this, and we change this to, yeah, it's now we are setting it to answer. Now we are going to ask, we are going to set again. After putting in the first number, we're going to say ask again. It is going to ask for another. So now to ask for, because we put number 1, it's now going to ask for operation. Then you shall wait, and then you shall have to set the operation. Here we're going to set the operation, and in our blocks we need to put that one operation. we had to set also operation. So shall we bring in the operation? And you also set the answer, you set it to answer. Now, when we set that, we have to ask for number 2. I mean, ask number again. 2. It only does what we have programmed it to do. So we're programming it to do that. Every calculator or every machine that works, somebody sat down and they programmed. They said, if you set this, if you press this, it will do this. So ask number 2. And then to wait. And number 2. Yes, the number 2 is there. If you begin the number 2, we set the answer. Here is 0. You have to set it to the answer of all that you've been working. Okay. And we try to see that when you click the green flag, already here it is asking number 1. For example, if I say number 1 to 2, and I enter to ask for operation, maybe I put a plus, and then I say enter, then it will ask for number 2, the second number. I put maybe 3 as the second number, and I enter. You see, it has shown us only number 1, number 2. It is showing number 1 as 2, number 3 as.
Yes, I think you're too slow. Your people are not hearing you. You're not loud enough. Maybe if you can increase. Let me first share about the calculator. Then you'll come in later. You try to work on your microphone to be a little bit audible because people are not hearing what you're saying. So let me. Let me first start with this, the first steps of the calculator. Then you can come, when you come in, you try to be a little audible because the kids are not hearing you. And they are always saying that in the chat.
So we have not been checking the chat sometimes.
So what she was saying is a variable is something where we store, is a place where we store things. And we use a variable to keep things temporarily. And when you come to these blocks of variable here, we can make a variable. We can make so many variables and we make them change. There are so many things that change in life. Age changes and age is a variable. Money changes, money is a variable. Time changes, time is a variable. Even your height is a variable because it keeps on changing. So we have a variable here, and even a list is considered a variable because it keeps on changing. But a list, what differentiates a variable from a list is a variable stores things for a small time, but a list stores things for a longer time. For example, if someone is going to the supermarket and they have come to shop, when they enter what they want, maybe in the mobile app, what they are going to buy or what they have ordered is going to be added to the list of things that have been ordered, and that's a list. But a variable is that particular thing that you've selected at that time. Now, what we did first is to create a variable. The first variable, we call it num1. So because you want 3 variables, one to store the first number, and then the second one to store the second number, then the third variable to store the operation, like that. So now, these three variables will be storing my information. And if I don't want them to be here, I can just uncheck them using these ticks here. But then I don't want this first variable, so I right click it to delete it. And then I can come and arrange my, my variables on the screen in this way. If I want them to be aligned very well, I can maybe have the first number there, then the operation can be here. This is just a basic calculator. We shall come to a more advanced calculator later. Now, what you do here, the first thing we said every programming language has rules. And the rules in Scratch is the first block of code is going to be an event to start the event. So you can say whenever the green flag is clicked, what should happen? So you're the one in charge and you're the one telling the program or you're telling the computer to implement the program that you're going to write here. So whenever someone or the user is pressing this green flag, whatever you're going to put down here is going to happen. Now, let's say, for example, you want to ask someone their first number. So you will go to sensing and then get the ask block here, which is the fifth block under sensing. And what are you asking? You are asking someone the first number. So you can say number 1, you ask number 1, and then you wait. So someone is going to be required to input the first number of their operation. So for example, if someone puts 4, where should 4 be stored? So now this is where we come to our variable, and then we go to set num1 to maybe their response. So in Scratch, even on the calculator, that equal sign has already the operator of answer. When someone presses the equal sign without even putting any number, it will always bring a 0. So that's why it's because initially it has been programmed to have a 0 as at the answer. So even when you come to sensing here, this answer here will always have the first number which is pressed. So if I press number 1, it's going to be stored in the answer. So when someone presses the equal sign, the number which I pressed as which I entered as my first number will be coming as the answer. So let's get to the next number, and then we have it as maybe you now ask for the second number under sensing. So ask operation before number 2. So you can say ask operation here and wait. Then you go to variables and then you set operation to the answer to the operation someone has selected. So I come to answer again, and then I set the operation to answer. The last thing I have to do here is to now go to ask and then ask the last number, which is the second number. You can ask so many of them, but I'm going to just use 2. So ask number 2, and then you wait. So after this, then you go to variables and you set number 2 to the answer which someone will give you. So this answer is what someone types here when they are required to enter a number. So this is what would happen when I click the green flag. Number 1 is going to be asked. So when I put maybe 3 is going to be stored in the variable num1, as you can see. And then when they ask for the operation, if I put minus, it's going to be stored in the operation here, variable here. Then when they ask number 2, it's going to be stored in the variable num2. So what happens now is we want to put the function. What happens to the operations when they are selected? So this is what I want someone to try and give me, who can predict what block is going to follow next. Raise up your hand if you have an idea. What can we do if you want now to make sure that if someone presses the plus, it's going to add. If someone presses the division, it's going to divide. If they press multiplication, it's going to multiply. So yes, Christine. Christine, we can't hear you.
Not from opera.
From operators. That's very good. That's really good. So that's a nice try. Who else wants to try? So what happens is now we are going to put conditions. Last week we learned about conditions. We learned about using the if and then the forever. So this time around we want to put a condition. If someone presses the plus, then whatever we shall write inside the if will be implemented. So what I do is I go to my control here, then I get the if here, I put it there down there, and I say if the operation equals to, so I got operators just like Christine said, I got operators and I get the operator which has equal sign, which has a diamond shape. If it has a diamond shape, it means it can fit in here, as you can see. And then now, what you have to do next is to put the operation, the variable. You go to variable. If the variable which has been selected is a plus, if the variable or the operation which has been selected is a plus, then you're going to say, you can, maybe I can even come here to extensions, then I bring the text. You come to extensions, which is here, and get the text to speech, yeah. And maybe you can initially set the language here to English, then set the voice to auto maybe, or in which you wish. Then what I will do here now is when the operation is plus, then I may just speak. And in the speak, I will go to operators. Then I get this first operator, which has a plus. So I will speak num1. I go to variables here. Then I speak the first number plus the second number here. Let's try to see what happens here. First number, let me say 30 plus maybe 3. Then it gives me 33. The answer as 33. Now, you can either use the speak or you can also use the say. So if I use the say, let me use the say for 2 seconds here. And then I will just say the same thing. So I duplicate this and then I say this for 2 seconds. So let me try out and show you what happens. So if it asks from number 1, I can say 61, and then I use the plus, then maybe 14. 75, and it even displays the answer here for 2 seconds. That's how we can build the algorithm. That's only one operation, and you have to do the same for the other operations here. So if I wanted to add another operation, I would go to my control here, then I get another if, put it down here, and then I go to operators, get the equal sign here, and then I go to variables operation. If operation equals to now minus, like that, in your keyboard, it's just that sign, which is a small dash. If operation equals to minus, then I will just speak. What will I speak? So I go to my operators and I get the second one here, which is minus. I will speak num1 under variables. So I can fix. Let's put it here. So I will speak num1 minus num2, and then I bring it here. And I need, this is just the speaking. I also need to display it here. So I will go to looks, then I get my say for 2 seconds here. And I will go to operators and I get the operation which has a minus here, which is the second operator here. Put it here, then I go to my variables and I get my first number to be subtracting the second number. And then I put it where there is hello. And that's the operation. Now we are left with 2 more operations. So for the next 2 operations, who wants to try? I want someone to share their screen and take us through how to make the 3rd operation. Then another one will take us through how to make the 4th operation. We are left with multiplication and then division. Who wants to give it a try? Raise up your hand. Okay, if you've not understood anything, please just leave your question in the chat or raise up your hand. If I'm too fast, you also let me know, because I may be leaving. I don't want anyone to be left behind. So after this, I think Grace will also go through it very fast if those who will be having questions. So if you still have a question after this, then you will still be helped. Now, when I go to control, I will get another if here, and I'll get another operation, maybe another operator from the operators. So I'll go to operators here and I get the 3rd one, which is I get the equal sign here. And now this operator is the division. Let's get the multiplication, which is just a star. If you can see a star, if you're using a computer, you can use the star as let me just share it in the chat. You use shift and then number 8, then you will be having a star. Or if it's on your phone, you can always see it. So that's the one for multiplication. Then the one for division is this one. So Kristen says, is that the plus sign on or the negative minus sign? So I first started with the plus sign here, then this one is the negative, and now I'm going to the multiplication. So when I come to the multiplication here, I will say if operation equals to multiplication here, what I have to do is to speak the operation here. So I got operators and I get the multiplication here. Put it maybe here, and I fill in the numbers before I can place it in the if statement. So this is number 1, this is times number 2, and then I put it here. Then the last thing is to just the same thing. It has not to be difficult, and I just get the say hello, and I duplicate this num1 times num2 here. Then I put it here, and I will be done with the 3rd operation. Now I go to the last operation, which is the division, and we already know that a simple calculator only has 4 operations. It doesn't have the tangent, the sign. Those other operators are here, but they can be added, included when you're building a more sophisticated calculator. Okay. Now let me give you 1 minute to make sure you are at this stage. Sorry if I'm too fast, but let's try to understand. If you don't understand anything up to this stage, then you ask, and you can also try out. You can either have your calculator to speak or not to speak. So these are just the blocks that I have. This is for multiplication, this is for subtraction, and this is for adding. And when I put them together, they make a program. And this is just for asking, the asking that you're seeing here. So that's how simple. When we bring them together, now we can have a calculator. So when I bring them together like this, they make a complete program. We said in Scratch, if your blocks are not together, they don't make a program and they will not run. So as you're still finishing this, let me be adding the if statement for the last block, or for the last operator here. So now, if you haven't understood, just understand from this operator, which I'm going to add here. So under this operator, this division here, I get the if, and if is just like we have been using if statements in real life. For example, if you are at school, if you don't have 500 shillings, you will not get a samosa from the canteen. So to have a samosa at the canteen, you must have 500 Ugandan shillings. So those are conditions. If you are to eat supper, or if you are to go to bed, you must take a bath. So if you haven't taken a bath, you will not go to bed. That's a condition at home. So that's how we use conditions. So if even here, if operation, so I will say, if operation equals to division, and what I will do is to go to my operators here, and I get the equal sign here. It's what I will always use often. For now, we shall not use greater and less than. We shall always be using this equal sign. So if operation, so I go to my variables and I get the operation. If the operation which the person has selected here, if I select division, which is like this, what will happen? So if operation equals to division, what should happen? The calculator should divide the numbers. So what I do is to speak. And what I will be speaking is this. I will just speak the division. Number 1 divide by number 2, which is under. So operate, I go to variables, then I add number 1 divided by number 2. Like that. And that's what I speak. So I just put it inside the if, meaning that if someone has selected division, I'll give them the answer, which is num1 divided by num2, or I can even just say it through my my looks here. Then I say the same number. So duplicating, you just right click on this, on what you want to duplicate, and then you add it where you see your hello, and that's it. So you can take time, and if you're done, you let me know. You can just first start from these first blocks, and first ensure that your calculator is asking. First leave alone you can first leave alone these ifs, then you try out this and see if it's working. Yes, please. Yeah.
Teacher, I'm
Yes.
lost.
Yes, from where? What don't you understand? Let me see. Let me first. I'm not seeing very well. Let me stop sharing and I see. And, so what is it that you have not understood in your code? Say num1. No, you don't. You have to get the operator. First check, look at my screen, what I've done. First remove your code. You're not supposed to put the num1 anything where you see seconds. So I'm going to come again one more time. And now I want you to be attentive. First, pay attention to what I'm showing, and then you'll be able to do it later. Let me just take this away. Now, what I did first of all is, let me first leave the, this is confusing you, the speak. We are just going to use the say. The first thing I do is to go to sensing. I have my green flag here. And the first thing I do is to ask, what is the first number? So this is the first question. Number one, what's number one? What number do you want to add? So when I press the green flag here, it's going to be asking what is number one. And when someone asks you a question, what is number one, you have to give them the answer. And now the answer is the answer that you give is going to be stored, is going to be still under sensing, this answer here, but we want to keep it in a certain variable because many people are going to be using the calculator and people will be having different answers to our questions. And that's why we come and make a variable here. We come and make a variable. So if I first take down these variables, and then I make my variable, I click on make a variable, then the first one, I just call it num1 short for number one. Then this, I click make a variable and I make the next one, which is now num2. And then I make the third variable, which is operation. So under operation, when I go to variable still, I'll now come to get this this block which has set num1 to answer. So what someone answers is going to be stored in the variable number one when we ask them the first number. So let me show you. When I ask them, they ask number one, when someone puts maybe 2000 or 200 and they press equal sign, 200 is going to be stored in num1, as you can see here. So now that's when we bring in we do the same thing for operation and also for the second number. So when I go again to sensing, ask the second, ask the operation now because someone has given in the first number. So I ask operation, and then I wait. And after this, I'm going to when someone enters their operation here, I need to store it. I'll ask them what's your, let me show you. When I press number one, then it asks me operation. Of course, I'm going to answer the calculator by giving them my operation, maybe plus. But where should the plus be stored? It should be stored in this variable operation. And that's why I go to variables and then I set operation to what someone has answered. So I go to sensing and I get the answer here. So I set their answer to the operation here, and it's also be stored here temporarily. Then the last thing is to ask number two and wait. So after asking number two and wait, then I need to set to store the answer, what someone answers to the variable number two. So I still go to variables and then I set number two, set num2 because it's what someone has answered here to answer, like that. So what have we done here? What we've done is we have ensured that what someone has input or what someone wants to operate has been stored in our variables. And now we can start to implement the tasks that they want us to implement. So let's try and see. If I wanted now if someone wanted to add, what would happen? This is now where the function comes in. So we start with the first function is the addition. You can start with any. I can decide to start with multiplication or division, any. You can have them in there in your own order. But for me, let me start with the addition. So I have a condition. If someone selects plus, I should add. If someone selects minus, I should subtract. If someone selects divide, I should divide. That's why we have this if coming here. So if operation equals to if someone equals just means if someone has selected the operation which is the same as as what is here. So if I had operation as plus, then I had the variable here. If operation equals to plus means that the variable which has been which someone has selected, if it is the same as plus, then I should add here. So what I can do here is to come to looks, and then I say I can say the answer. So to give the answer here, you need to carry out the operation. And to carry out the operation, you can go to operators, and then you get the operator which starts. Now this one, which is like an oval, or maybe which is curved at the edges. And because we select it because it can fit in here where there is hello. You don't put it where there is seconds here. You're not supposed to put it where there is seconds. You're supposed to put it where there is hello here. But before you put it here, you first make sure you put it somewhere here, and then you can go to variables and get your first number here, num1, put it in the first circle, then num2 in the second circle. And what happens here is we are getting num1 plus num2, and that's the answer which the cat is going to give out. So that's how we program this. So if I say num1 plus num2 for 2 seconds, let me show you what happens here. When it asks me number 1, I can put maybe 4, then press equal sign. It asks me the operation, then I can put plus, then it asks me the second number, then I can put maybe 6. And when I press enter, it's going to give me 10, which is the answer. That's how we can implement this in a very basic way. Then now, when we go to the, you can go to the next operator. Let me first, you go still to the control, and then you get another if. Just put it there. Then you go to the operators and get the equal sign here. And do the same here, but you just change the sign. So I go to variables, and then I get the operation. Then if it is equal to maybe minus, which is just that dash here, then what should happen is if operation equals to minus, then I'm going to go to looks, and then I say num1 minus num2. So I'll go to operators here and get the operator which has a minus here. Place it somewhere here first of all. Then I go to variables. I put my num1, and then I put the num2 this side. Then I'll come have it here. And that's all you have to do. You have to repeat the same for the multiplication and then the division. Then you get the forever, and then you put everything here in forever to make sure that the calculator is continuous. So let me give you some time. When you're done with this, you let me know before we can do the last 2 operators. So whoever finishes, you can let us know whether your calculator is actually doing these operations here, or performing. Very good from Ali. That's very brilliant. Let's have Trinity and Trevor. I see your hands are up. Unmute yourself, Trinity. You want to speak.
We have finished.
Very good, very good. I also see Christine. I see Pio has also finished. And now let's try to make sure you finish all the remaining operators here. So if I wanted to complete the other operator, I will go still to the control, and then I get the if here. This is also done, very good. So I go to control and I get the if, then I got operators and I get the equal sign again, put it here. Then if the operation is which is selected is maybe multiplication, so I'll go to operations here under variable. Sorry, I go to variables, then I get the operation here. If the operation which has been selected is equal to multiplication, what should I do? I should multiply. So I got operators again. This is very simple. And I get the multiplication, which is the third here. And I will just go to variables. Then I get num1 times num2, like that. And then I go to looks, get my say hello, put it here, and then I get my operation here, which is the answer it's supposed to say, and put it there. Then you do the last one. The last one is going to be the division. So I still go to control, get the if, put it here, down here. Then I go to operators, get the equal sign, and do the same. Go to variables, get the operation, put it here. If operation equals to division, division is that slant / which is on your phone or on your computer keyboard. And if they have selected division, then you go to looks and then say, and what you're going to say is number 1 divided by number 2. So what I do is to go to operators and I get this fourth block here. Put it somewhere here. I go to my variables, carry my num1, put it in the first circle, then carry my num2, put it in the second circle. And we are good to go. Then I can carry him, place him where there is hello, not where there is. These 2 seconds has to be, nothing should be put in these 2 seconds. You have just to substitute the hello with the operation here. Now, the last thing to do is to carry your forever. Whatever I want to happen continuously, you will fill in, you will have to put it inside the forever. So when I get the forever, go to my control here. Under control, I get my forever and put everything, just starting from, before even I put everything here. Let me see. Let me try to show you when I put everything to forever. Before setting, the first thing I had to do before doing anything, when I press the green flag, you have to always say, okay, but this, let's try out this and we see what happens. When I press the green flag, it asks for number 1, and then I will put maybe 1 equals to operation. Maybe let me select divide. So let me select divide. Number 2, then I can put 3. Then it gives me the answer, and then it asks again. Because a calculator is used by many people and you can have so many operations. So this time around, let me try 300, maybe 2. And then the second operation is maybe times equals to. Then the second number, let me just use 2. Then it's going to give me the answer here. So let's try out that. Let me zoom and you see, we just repeated the same operation for all of them. So when you get done, you can also let me know. The forever just ensures that the calculator keeps on asking after, and then it keeps on substituting. You see, when I put the second number here, another number here initially in the previous calculation, the first number was 302. So when I put another number 1 again, it's going to substitute what is here. So if I put maybe 18, then the operation I'm selecting now minus, then the second number I can select 7. It's going to give me 18 minus 7 as the answer. So if you want the answer to remain there for a little bit more longer, you can modify this weights, the time it waits before it goes to the next operation. So if I made this to 4, then I make even this 4, I make this 4 to display the answer for 4 seconds, then it will do that. If I put the first number here as maybe 8 equals to operation maybe let me say minus, then minus 2, it will display the answer for 4 seconds. So you can be in control and make your modifications the way you want. So I see Jeff, your hand is up.
Excuse me.
Yes.
The numbers in the 0, please. In the num and the operation and the num.
Question. You're still muted.
How do you put the numbers in num1, num2, and operation?
What do you mean? How do we put them? We just come and place them here. Like we have done this like 2 times. And if you're still facing challenges, then maybe you shall make it clear in your breakout session. Who else is getting a challenge? Okay, let's give it like 2 minutes for everyone to get done. And then we can proceed. So if you're finished, you let me know, then we can start over with something else. And those who are asking how to get, the first thing you do is to, if you want to make sure that this num1 and num2 fit in properly, you first get the operator, put it somewhere like here. Let me show you. I can put my operator somewhere out of the program. Then I go to my variables, then I get the num1. You come close, you make it come close to the 0 or maybe to the space. Then when it comes close, you will see a highlight. When the highlight comes, you release the num1. And then you go to variables still and get the next variable, and then place it there like that. So very good. Enoch is done. And events size done. Question is done. Very good. And it's so we have very sharp students. So I have Trinity is done and Trevor. Okay. That's encouraging. Now the rest you can just complete. We want to now give you an assignment. So before even we do the assignments in the breakout rooms, let's try to save your work. After coding your program, you come to file here. Then you before even you go to file and click save to your computer, you come here where there is Scratch project, where you see Scratch project, then delete, put your cursor there and delete, then call it, give it your name. It's called calculator, like that. So after giving it the name here, then you come to file and then save to your computer. Then you decide where you want to save it. And then if it's in downloads, if on desktop, I choose desktop. Me, I've chosen downloads, then I click save. And it's asking me to replace, yes. Then I press OK. And my calculator is now saved, meaning I can go to another program. So after this, then let me just click file and then new project. What do we want to do next? Let me share my screen to show you what we have to do next. So what we're going to do next, we want to now build a graphical calculator, which someone can just press on the screen, which someone can just, the way you can see someone just presses 0, 1, 0, 1, and 2, and they can also press the plus here, or maybe the operators will be here. So make your numbers to be on the screen, and then someone can press on them, and the answers will be given also on the screen. Let's try out that. So the same thing that we've done. Let me share my Scratch. If I click file and new project, then I replace this. What I will do is, in this case, when I say go to my events, I will delete the cat or I will hide it because I don't need it. And then I can, okay, I'll just hide it. I will not draw. You have to be programming something here. That's why if you want to delete the cat, then you get another sprite or paint another one. But for now, I'll just hide it because of time. And then when I say when green flag is clicked, what I want to do is, first of all, before even doing any program, coding anything, let me first bring the numbers on the screen. So I'll go to my sprites here. Under my sprites, I'll look for numbers. So numbers are in the last section here, which has letters. And under letters, you just scroll down. Do we have numbers here? Let me see. Okay, let me try going up. Let me try selecting all. The numbers are not there, then you have to paint your own numbers. Oh, good, they're here. So you can use 0, 1, 2. So I will get all of them. I'll get 0. Then I come again and select. They are the last. I just wonder why they are not here in letters. Let me see the section where we can get numbers. I think there's no section. We have to do it the ordinary way. Okay, you just click all, and then you scroll down until you see numbers. You can either use the numbers which are here or paint your own numbers. So then I choose 2, and then I can now again come here to choose Okay, this is 1, then now 2. A bit 2, then I come and select number 3. You select up to 9. 0 from 0 to 9, then you will also get the operators. 3. Then you can be arranging them the way your calculator should be. The 0 will come last here, next the operator. Then I come select number 4. Then I come select number 5. Then I select number 6. Take your time and select the numbers, all the numbers. You don't have to be fast like me. Then I select number 7. Then I select number 8. And then I select number 9, which is my last number. Number 9 is here. So after getting the numbers here, they are the ones I'm going to program. So I don't need the cut. So I delete the cut and I only have these sprites as my numbers, number 1, number 2, number 3, up to number 9. So I can just decide to resize them by maybe making them to be a little bit smaller such that they can fit. So I can change the size to 60 for all of them. So size is this, you can always modify through this. Size is just above here. So I make all of them 60. Sixty makes them a little bit smaller from 100. 60, all of them to be 60 now. And now I can arrange number 1 here, I can arrange number 9 this side, number 8 here, maybe 4 can come here, 5 comes here, then 6 comes here, then 7 will come here, 8 will come here, 9 will come here, 0 will come here. And now the operations, you can have the operations. So let me extend this one here, 7 here. Eight here, 0 here. And then I will I want to create space for my operators. Now you need to put the operators here because we don't have already operators made for us. So we shall have to paint our own operations. So if you check in here, do we have any operator? Let me see. Okay, so I'm going to slow down. Let me wait for you to get all the numbers. Thank you very much, Jeff. You can get all the numbers as I'm also looking for the operators. Okay, there are no, so I will have to paint my own operators. But before I do that, let me give you some time to get your numbers arranged here on the screen. When you finish, then you let me know. Remember, you're going to do this work. Me, I'm just going to show you how to put the numbers, then you're going to code them by yourself. I'm going to code for you only one number or two, and then you will go to breakout sessions in your teams, and then you work it out. The breakout sessions are also made for you to make friendships and also ask from each other about your coding experiences. So it's not just to do the work, but also to get to know each other and make your teams. Yes, Trinity, very good. Trinity and Trevor are done putting the numbers. So as we are still waiting for others to put the numbers, let's wait for 2 or more people to put the numbers, then we can proceed. Yes, Sally is also done, very good. It's brilliant. Very good. Christine is also done, and we hope everyone else is also getting done. So after this, you come to sprite, but this time around, we are going to paint our own sprite. So you click on paint here. Before we do that, let me see. I see Jasmine's team is raising up the hand. Yes.
Teacher, my numbers are squeezed and I don't know how to get them spaced.
You can first click on each number. Have you made their size to be 60? You click on each number, then go to size and make it 60 for all of them. And then you'll create some more space for you here. Is that okay with you? Have you done that already?
I'm going to do it.
All right. So after that, then we are going to come to new sprite. Then we click on paint. We want now to paint our own operation. So you click on paint and you're going to begin with the plus. So I'll just click on, let me say, I'll click on this line here. And then I change the color. Since I want maybe the same color here, I'll click on outline here. Then I click, you can select your favorite colors. So if I make the plus to be maybe red, and then I increase maybe the thickness. I increase the thickness to maybe 20. Can make it 20 or 15. Let me see if I made it 15. Makes no sense. So I can make it 20. Yeah, the thickness of the line to be 20. And then I just come and draw a simple line here. And then I'll draw another one. Yeah, you just draw a plus. And you can come here, place your plus around here, like that. And here, instead of sprite 1, you call it plus, or maybe add. You call it add. You give it a name. You do the same. You use just this line here to draw the operation. So if I want to go to the next operation, I will still come here. Instead of clicking choose a sprite, I'll go to paint here. Then I click on paint, and then I paint another sprite. I don't paint the minus inside here. I made another painting here. The other one has remained here. So this one is going to be a minus. So I just draw a minus like that. And then I can place it here. Then I rename it. You don't forget to rename. You remove sprite 1, then you call it subtract. Like that. You do the same for other other sprites. Now we are going to multiplication. So for multiplication, I will come here again to choose a sprite, then paint another sprite, and I will just draw my multiplication sign. All of us are good in art. This doesn't require a lot of that. So this is going to be my multiplication, and I put it here. Then the last on my calculator can be the division. So I come to paint, and then I put division. So division, I can just put this slant here. Since they are squeezed, I can push this up like that. And on a calculator, this point here is always a dot. So I'll add another, I'll come here and paint another sprite. And this one, I can change the color maybe. And when I click on this sphere, or maybe this sphere or sword, it's a magnetic color selector, and then I bring to the color, to this color here. Sorry, I can't do that. So let me just select the color to be a different color. Maybe that's this color here. Then I change this. Then I'll just draw. I come, no, instead of a line now, I'm going to use a circle. And my circle will not have an outline. So when I click on outline here, I remove the outline through by using this red line to remove the outline. And then I ensure it's only filled with color here. And this color is what I wanted here initially. Like that. Then now in my circle, I'll just draw something like this, which will be a full stop. And then I carry it, put it here. Then the last thing is the equal sign. And before I even go further, I forgot to name my multiplication. So I come to my multiplication, I'll just call it multiply. Then I go to my division, call it divide. Then I come to my full stop. I just call it maybe point when someone is having a decimal. And then the last one is an equal sign. So I come to paint a new sprite here. Then I just come click on the line here and I select the color here. Maybe I can select the same color here. And then I increase this to maybe 20 because I used 20 initially. Then I just have lines here like this to represent the equal sign. And then I can put it here. So that's my touch screen calculator. And I'm going to show you how it works. So let me give you 1 minute to ensure that everyone at least gets here. So this sprite, I'll call it answer. And someone wants answer, they click on that. So I'm waiting for you to get done. So you have to paint your own. When you finish painting your signs, you let me know. Just use for painting these signs, you just use this line here. You go to paint and then you click on the line, then choose the color here. Make sure this is not highlighted like this. Then you choose the color, you want your symbol to be, then you increase this size, thickness to whatever number that you want, and then you just make your drawings. Here, just use the cursor to make the drawings. Let me just undo this. This was my multiply. So when you finish, you let me know in the chat. Okay. So I see. If you're done, you let us know in the chat. Very good, Nin and Jasmine. Okay, now we go to coding. So when we come to code, this is where I want to see if you can. So let me just do for you number 1 here. Very good, Hali is also done. So now to program number 1, you can say if this sprite, instead of saying green flag, you say if this sprite is clicked, then you create a variable. You have to come to create variables for number 1, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever and the number is, or you can create just for 2 numbers. Let's create for 2 numbers, num1, and let's just have the same operations, num1, num2, and then the operation, and then operation here. The same variables that we had, and this time around we are going to hide them, so I can just untick them such that they are not on the screen. And now what you want to do is when this sprite, when number 1, num1, when this sprite is clicked, then you're supposed to set num1 to number 1 because someone has selected number 1. So you set it to 1. And then that's all. Then you go to 2 and you can say when this sprite is clicked, let me say, sorry, I go to when this sprite, when 1 is clicked, then I set maybe so I go to variables and then I set maybe num1 to 2, And you do the same for all these. But now when someone presses the operation, what happens? So when I go to my operation, maybe plus, that's where the logic comes from now. Say, got events and say, when this sprite is clicked, what should I do if they have selected the addition? So that's where you go to the operators here, and then you get plus here, and then you're supposed to now, let me just use the say for now. So I say, maybe, so what are you going to say? You don't have anything which has been, which you don't have anything inside num2, you only have num1. So at this point, then you're going to ask them to now enter the second number. So now this is the reasoning that I want you to figure it out. We are going to give you up to 6 minutes in teams, and I want someone to figure out, the team which is going to figure out what happens, how I can get the second number input, and also what happens when I press, if I press minus, it gives me the, it doesn't give me the answer until I press the equal sign. So let's try. We don't expect everyone to get the answer right. And we just want to see your approach. And you know, the approach to this can differ. There are so many correct answers or ways that we can implement this. So I'm going to separate you, or maybe send you to breakout rooms. And these breakout rooms, what you have, if your contribution as an individual will be on your assessment, we shall use it as an assessment. So you will tell us that the team leader is going to tell us that this, what we did here, this person contributed this, and this one told us to add this, and then that's how we are going to award marks, which will appear on your certificate at the end of this program. For those also, if you just go to a group and you don't participate, you will get a 0, and the certificate will have a 0. So you will just click on breakout rooms. If you're stuck, you can always, if all of you are stuck, you can always come back to the main room, and then you ask a question, or you can request for someone to come and help you out. But we don't expect you to ask us to come and help you out, because we want you to think. After 6 minutes, we are going to tell you what to do. But before we tell you what to do, we want to see what you can do from what we have learned already, and from all your own experience. So let me start breakout rooms here. And we are just going to have 4 breakout rooms. So each team is going to have 3 to 4 participants. Let's see. Okay, so off the room to. Nice. So you can just go to your breakout rooms apart from Grace. And then you start over with the assignments as a team. Do group. This one person shares the screen, then the others contribute. Okay, if you're not ready, we can go to the next room. You just unmute yourself. So let's have room 2. If your team doesn't present, then we shall not be able to assess you. So room 2 has a call, Alexis. And while telling us what you did, you tell us the people who contributed in your group. So we have Trinity and Trevor. We have Sasa, crew. We have Melissa and Cole. Please let one of you share the screen and tell us what you did and who contributed to what.
Hello everyone, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
So this is basically what we did.
Yes, we
When you
can.
come to number 1, we coded it in such a way that when someone clicks it, it will set now the variable number 1 to 1, and also here on number 2, we set it when someone clicks it, it sets variable number 2 to 2. And when you come to the equal, and also on the plus sign, we set it that it sets the variable operator to one additional to add. So when you come to the equal signs, we set it in such a way that if the operator is equal to any of these signs here, it adds the, for example, if it's an additional sign, it adds the values in variable 1 to, it adds the variables in number 1 and number 2. If it's subtracting, it does the same, dividing and multiplying. And after this, it will broadcast done so that it can reset the variables to 0. I did that so that if someone presses, I don't know how, but I wanted so that if like someone clicks number 2 first, it can set like variable 1 to 2. And when they're clicking the second number, it doesn't have like, it just automatically adds this value to variable number 2. That's what we did. This is what it does. 1 plus 2. So it has shown you the answer. Mainly the active participants were me and Nasakra. I don't know if Melissa had problems with her audio, but were the ones who were discussing most of the time.
Nice. Can you share your screen once again? Please, Jeff, don't unmute yourself until you're told to unmute. You can first share your screen again.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, let me look at your code. So you said
the equal signs or the letters?
No, I want the letters. You say when I receive, very good. When I receive done, then when this sprite is clicked, you set number. When I receive done, then okay, let's go to 0 and we see.
To 0. I've only so far done 2 letters, 1 and 2. Those are the ones we were able to do.
Okay, let me see 2. All right, that's a good approach. So how about when this sprite is clicked, set number 2. Let me go to your equal signs and we see. And how about the operation? Okay, that's a good approach.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's have the next team. I see Christine is saying they are ready. Christine, you can share your screen and take that through.
I was saying that I'm talking in this. So I'm going to share Christine.
You're going to do what?
Share on Christine. I'm using this
share.
device.
All right.
So we try to when we click like the plus sign, it has to say something. We try to see which can do when you say 1 plus 2 equals 3, but we somehow could not find the answer.
Okay.
The active people were all of us in the room 1.
All right. That's a nice try. Let's have to hear from room 3, which has Amocha Philp, Harley Becky, and Jeff. Let one of you share the screen and you talk about what you did.
Teacher, I'm the one sharing the screen.
All right.
Let me share. Teacher, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay, so teacher, this is what we did. We started with we wanted to make this number. When we click it, and it can come, when we click this number, it can come here, but it failed. We had done this. We had started by doing this. Yeah. And we only did this. We didn't do any other numbers.
Okay. Okay, let's have to hear from room 4, which has Alim Gerard, Eliona, Enoch, and one of you can share the screen.
So we were trying to program the numbers, but we didn't understand how.
What did you do during the time?
We tried to understand, but it was too vague.
All right. Okay, now let's, I think because we are, the time is up, that's the first thing that we are, you can also try reasoning out at home before tomorrow's lesson. So tomorrow we shall be looking at how to code it. Then we look at how to make a game tomorrow. So everyone will be required to present their project as an individual, this time not as a team, but you don't have to make it accurate, but you'll just have to share with us what you'll have done so far before tomorrow's class.
But teacher?
Yes?
Do we have to show all of our calculators?
What do you mean?
Like if someone has failed to make the tapping calculator,
yeah,
should they still present it?
Yeah, we just want you to, we don't expect everyone to pass, but you'll just present what you will have added to your code.
Okay.
All right. Okay, then now that brings us to the end of today's class. What we looked at, just to do a recap before we end the session. And we shall share these slides and with everyone, if you want to maybe go through what we learned today. So today we learned what a variable is, and we also were supposed to learn, we also learned what an array or a list is, and we demonstrated their use in Scratch. So in programming, we say the variable is a value that can change depending on conditions or information passed to the program. And we went to the code section to build our first calculator by making the variables. We made the variables num1 and num2 and then operation as we saw them here. Then we started our program by going to the events here, and then we asked the person to enter the first number operation and their second number. So this, we say that the control block, which is the if statement, helps us to ensure that we check whether it's we check which operation has been selected, and then we implement that operation in our answer. So we looked at these operators and how to get them. Then we arranged them and got the answer displayed to the user if they selected maybe a plus sign here. Then we had all the other operators represented here. This is the minus, the multiplication, the division. And then we finally enclosed the code with the forever loop covering everything to make sure that the program continues happening. And then we came to our assignment here, which was to build a calculator, which is graphical. And just to give you a clue as you go, if you're programming, for example, the operation, you can say set enter. Maybe if someone presses the plus, they set the enter. You create a variable called enter, and you set whatever that that addition is the enter, such that when you click equal sign, then enter should be, what is in the enter should be displayed. So to program maybe this screen here, you can say first ask the first number, then you set the first number to enter, then ask the second number, then set the second number to enter. If someone presses equal signs, what is in the enter will always be the one which is displayed. That's why we create one variable. We don't have a variable for operations, but we have one for the enter here. So that's what you are supposed to do that in 10 minutes, but then those who are not able, we are going to give you a chance now when you are when you've gone back home, and also try to read about the lists here in the, we say the list is the same as an array in other programming languages, and an array is a series of objects which are of the same size or type. So we shall send these slides, and then you can go through them in your free time today. Then we shall meet tomorrow to now start building games. So any question before we end, before we go? Okay. So if there are no questions, then I want to thank you very much for coming, and also encourage your friends to apply to join and also learn with us maybe tomorrow, and practice, teach your friends who are not part of this class before we, such that they can also be able to build amazing animations and games. Thank you very much, and I wish you a nice weekend.
Bye.